Hello YouTube, Infinite Imaginary Community, Gandalf here. We're taking a look at the Charger boss today. He is the 7 Sages of Liuli boss that requires the direct damage tag. And for this particular boss, what I find is for early game, it is quite challenging because we usually don't bring direct damage dealer. You don't want to build a direct damage dealer early game to try to make that your carry because it's really hard to hit 100% crit rate. And when you fight this boss, he only takes damage from crit damage once you get to a certain threshold on the HP side. But luckily today, I finally finished all of stage 2. He's the last one that I needed to beat to finish that. On this particular attempt, what I'll say early game, what's really helpful is actually using Nordak and Agatha once you get Agatha. And these were the two heroes I used to clear the previous stage. Lydia is great with the direct damage tag. I actually had to think Santa in here. And I didn't have Nordak. I had Lydia when I did this. Bring something with a severe wound, bring something with turn meter reduction. And again, Ben Austin again is a very versatile hero for boss killing, right? So that's what I use to clear it. You definitely don't need to use Airtoe. It's totally viable with a different setup. You just need to bring severe wounds. So if you happen to have, I'm so glad they fixed it. So Xiaoring has severe wound tag now. I'm glad that was fixed. So any of the severe wound heroes from another faction that can do damage, especially, that will help, right? Because at least the first 50% can be done. You can help with another damage type. But later on, if you have Jenny, that's a really good choice. Megan, something free that we all got in a recent box, I think. So there's quite a few different options. Now, if you can fulfill the damage tags, for example, like something like this, you can actually bring Nordak. Nordak works really well. So like Nordak, Agatha works really well together. Then you have room to bring something like a space. And the last one you need is something with severe wound. And you could be Megan. Something like this could even clear difficulty 2 if and this might even work for difficulty 3, right? So this is something work really well because Nordak also just completely deal with the survivability aspect of things. So I'm not going to run it on this because I kind of already did, but we'll kind of go explain the mechanics as we play through on the server 71 account. That was kind of your free to play kind of budget options to help you clear some of the earlier stages. Now for endgame, I haven't done my attack today, but let's talk about some of the best teams here. Here, I would say Parker had a really good setup, but Parker needed to have severe wound. This actually looks exactly like the perfect endgame team, except you need Bambi E3, probably higher exclusive and better stats on everybody, probably a E3 or even a E5 Jenny. It will be the setup. But this is the team that actually does the most damage if you actually go to Ultimate Division and check it out. Here, the key benefit that Blaze brings to the table is to have speed up. And in this particular setup, if you don't have Blaze, you don't have speed up. Beatrix only works if you bring another hero that was severe wound, but you still don't have attack up. Right? Beatrix will increase damage quite a bit, but that won't help. From that perspective, Jingle Bell definitely is the core damage dealer here. And survivability is an issue. A lot of time these people aren't able to break through to stage 6 is because simply can't survive it, right? And here's where I find the luxury of Bambi makes life a lot easier. So let's quickly go into my setup here. I'm using Des and Bephany. I think this is a little bit of a underrated or underappreciated duo for Jingle Bell team, just simply because all of these extra pursuits stack up. The snowball stacks and allow Jingle Bell to do a lot more damage. I have picked Horus as the severe wound hero. Definitely, there are better options. I would actually say, unfortunately, Showering doesn't have the tag, but um, here, Jenny or Megan, I would say Megan is probably the better option because Megan at least increases crit damage for your entire team. In this particular setup, because I already have Enfeeble, right, defense break, like tenacity down, all of that between Des and Bephany, Jenny doesn't actually add a lot of value until exclusive 2, which gives everyone also crit damage up. So that's why I'm not using Jenny just yet, and I'm using just this old Horus that I have, and it works perfectly fine because all I need is just to reliably apply severe wound. So yeah, let's go right into this battle. Severe wound is really important to bring for this particular fight because if you do not bring severe wound, what ends up happening is you immediately loses 120% crit damage. With 2 stacks of that, you're pretty much goner. You are not doing a lot of damage at all. So that's why you notice that for my build for Horus, he's actually needed to be really fast, and just so that there is sufficient turn cycling so that he's able to reapply that severe wound onto the enemy. You can see with all these joint attacks, right? Jingle Bell is constantly picking up, this little icon here. Now you see it's a tree, and the tree is still stacking up, and that's why every time when she goes, she has all of these extra snowballs to throw at the enemy to do a huge amount on her second skill. Lydia is doing the turn meter, is giving me the cooldown. That's pretty much every time when my Jingle Bell goes, it's fully stacked because the whole Bephany and Des combo. From a Echo Aura perspective, Jingle Bell is built, full standard, best possible DPS build you can get. Use the right Echo, use your best blessing you can get. Versatility Aura, full devouring set. When it comes to Lydia, I'm actually using this high speed setup, so you can see that's why the speed is ridiculously high. It is just simply to turn cycle. So that you can trigger that cooldown reduction for Jingle Bell. Bephany doesn't actually have to be built to do a lot of damage. And here, the Echo, I'm just using Battle Desire. You can definitely build her in a way to do more damage, but it's not required. She's really here just to apply, give your team attack up, doing the defense down. And then all of the other debuff come from Des. You're having Effect Arrest down, you're having tenacity down and feebleness. Of course, you also bring speed up and consolidation for your entire team. You don't need consolidation because you have Lydia already, but it's really just this key speed up, and then being able to generate a little bit of a tiny shield on top of what Bambi's providing here. This boss is pretty straightforward. This is one of those days where you can actually do a full auto on this particular boss, and it does make life a lot easier, a lot painless. On the couple of bosses, like for the Sega City Hero one, we had to manual. For the Burn one, is also kind of manual, and it could be super sweaty on the Burn boss. Fortunately enough, those are the only 2 bosses that require a lot of manualing. On this one, we are fortunate to say that we can do it without. So as you can see, I'm consistently able to keep that severe wound onto the boss. If for whatever reason I miss one of the severe wound lands, it could go south very quickly for me. But as you can see, even though I'm doing everything I can in my power to make sure that nothing goes wrong here, and you can see that's the charging state, right? Lydia has to quickly do a auto attack in between to make sure that he loses that charging stack. Otherwise, he's going to be getting a lot more damage output. But even right now, right, he's already only at 9. You can see how hard he's hitting me already, right? Like I already lost both of my Bambi stacks, right? So that's why wukong, having wukong here is so important for survivability. We just went past the 3 bell mark. I think usually I end up dying between turn 12 to 14. It's just because the boss does so much damage. We can't well, that ended a little bit earlier than I would have liked, but that kind of helps you get a sense of why people need to bring wukong. Is doesn't bephany, the downside of this team is survivability issues, but you're basically doing a lot of burst damage up front. What I hope to be able to do is, to build up my Jenny, use Beatrix in this setup. Hopefully, the next time I do this, I hopefully have Jenny exclusive too. I want to bring Jenny in, and let's see, if because I'm really dying really early, right? So, if somehow I'm able to just use Jenny and get all of those benefits, and then bring in, um, this alternative setup, hopefully, I'll be end up doing more damage that way. So, anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Gandalf out.